It is a real privilege to take a peek at one of the most beautiful places on Earth. The so-called Coral Triangle, a paradise overflowing with coral reefs and considered the area with the greatest marine biodiversity in the world. Like a heart for our planet, its mission is to pump oxygen continuously through the enormous fields of coral that grow in its depths. The currents transfer this oxygen to the oceans, generating life. This area provides a home and protection for more than 2,000 species of fish and animals of all kinds. 75% of all our planet's coral lives here. In this series, we have filmed over 300 hours of underwater images, 2 years of diving, having the chance to see up close the uniqueness of all its inhabitants and the beauty of its surroundings. Sadly, it is in serious danger of extinction. The Coral Triangle occupies an area of 6 million square kilometers. It covers 18,000 islands in an area where the seas of Southeast Asia and Oceania meet. We're going to visit one of the most special places in the triangle, the western part of Papua New Guinea, near Kaimana, where we find a haven of wildlife and diving, Triton Bay. In this area, the tropical forests plunge straight into the sea. These are somewhat different landscapes from what we have seen up till now in the series. It's a humid area with a profusion of fresh water that runs into a sea that is at 23 degrees centigrade, which creates an unusual ecosystem specific to this area, like this one in Momon. We are swimming along the seabed in a place called Namatota, very unusual and beautiful. Here we will see an extraordinary animal, which is quite scary at first sight. It's a shark, the whale shark, the largest fish in the ocean. It has emerged from a depth of 700 meters, where it usually swims, and from a history of 60 million years, which is when it is calculated this species dates from. The largest males reach a length of 12 meters, but some claim to have seen them measuring up to 17. It has an enormous mouth, almost 1.5 meters wide. And a tail of up to 2.5 meters. Its skin is 10 centimeters thick. and every individual has its own pattern of spots and lines that cover its back. Although its habitat is much deeper, it swims up close to the surface in these shallow reefs because it finds great quantities of plankton and small animals to feed on. They are always escorted by a variety of species of remoras, which eat any food remains and keep the shark clean. The whale shark feeds by filtration. It takes in almost 2 liters of water a second, and when it closes its mouth, it filters the food through what are called branchial combs. These retain everything measuring more than 2 or 3 millimeters. It expels the water through 5 pairs of enormous gills. And it has an excellent sense of smell to find it large shoals of food. And places where the food is good are very popular. A number of whale sharks move in to share the table. One of them is wearing a GPS transmitter that tells biologists of the route taken by this species. They have discovered that they are not fixed routes, although they do follow similar patterns. In this area of the planet, they often travel great distances from the south of the Philippines, where the occasional haven of numerous individuals has been located. But also on the other side of the Pacific Ocean, on the coast of Mexico. It is a privilege to be able to see so many whale sharks at the same time. Despite its huge size, it is a totally peaceful species. Sometimes they don't think twice about approaching the divers and giving a little wink for the camera. This encourages other species to come along and share space and anything else left over. A group of bottlenose dolphins moves into what looks like a feast. They are the most sociable dolphins, the ones we are accustomed to seeing in aquariums in large cities. They adopt a careful approach because they know that they occupy a secondary place in this situation. But if we're talking about protagonism, we cannot fail to observe the great diversity of soft corals growing in Triton Bay. This is something that makes this place very special. There is no other seabed in the triangle with such a large quantity of soft coral. It has much to do with the temperature difference created here, with the mixture of seawater and fresh water from the rivers that gush into the sea. There is a spot that has been given the name of Little Komodo because of this wealth of corals. It is in the area known as Pinto Aros, which is Indonesian for gateway to the current. A little further on, sheltered from the current, we find this friendly little character, a harlequin mantis shrimp, quite common in the area, but no less striking because of that. And bold. Beneath its feet is none other than its dinner for a few days. Part of a starfish. It is making a huge effort to take its dinner home. Will it succeed? For the moment, it is recovering its strength with a few nibbles. This will lighten the load it will have to carry for hours. This area in Western Papua is at the confluence of various marine currents. Almost all the reef species can be found here. This is why divers have started to call this place the last best place. Here there are no crowds. You can dive in absolute peace and tranquility. This is the only way to see this bamboo shark at complete rest. It is also known as the cat shark because of its cat-like eyes and unusual appendices around its mouth, which look like whiskers. It's peaceful if you don't disturb it, and quite shy. This individual is a different species from the same family, the epaulette shark. It drags itself along the seabed in a curious manner. This one is not very big, but they can measure up to 1 meter in length, and it can survive in complete anoxia, in other words, without oxygen, for up to an hour. To do so, it reduces its pulse rate and disconnects its movement function. This means it can even remain out of the water. And here we have a zebra shark. They are avid night hunters. So daytime is the time to take it easy and rest their more than 3 meter long bodies. We have seen 2 species whose life develops on the seabed. This is why, when swimming around these waters, a good tip is to always keep your eyes peeled for the marvels in front of you, but also below you. Surprises can come from where you least expect them. Look at the center of the picture very closely. Camouflaged and totally motionless, a shark called wobbegong. The wobbegong is a shark that belongs to a family with 12 species that live permanently stuck to the seabed. This is why they are also called carpet sharks. Its name comes from the Australian Aborigine language and means approximately rough beard, a reference to the filaments surrounding its mouth. These are used for camouflage, but they are also sensory perceptors to feel the seabed and detect possible prey. The spots on their skin, which are amazingly symmetrical, help them to go unseen and wait patiently for possible prey to approach. They eat small fish and octopus, but also other smaller species of shark, like the bamboo shark we saw earlier. The spotted wobbegong can grow up to 3 meters and are not dangerous to man unless you disturb their tranquility or block their escape route. If they're forced to bite, their teeth can easily pierce any neoprene suit. Fortunately, this species is not threatened with extinction. Poseidon, the god of the sea in Greek mythology, would probably be happy to see his son's name, Triton, used to name this place. Triton lived with his parents, Poseidon and Amphitrite, in golden palaces dotted around the oceans. One of those palaces might well have been here. Areas of unspoilt forests and white waters, gems of nature that might have been enjoyed by this lord of the sea, half man and half fish, who used a conch to announce his formidable presence. The sea was his world and his life, and the legend has it that his skin was turquoise in color. Could this be his favorite spot? In any event, Triton Bay is a divine location. A place where life runs its course. And there is nothing more earthly than taking your food home. Our friend the Harlequin continues to transport a part of the starfish to his pantry, if nothing or no one gets in his way. Another Harlequin fixes his gaze on this succulent delicacy. He looks ready to move in. Our protagonist decides to get up close and personal, forcing the intruder to withdraw. There is too much food at stake. Time seems to stand still in Triton Bay. The currents drag particles that make for a more cloudy view, immersing us in a mist that is ideal for certain fish. For example, for the toadfish or frogfish, one of the most unusual marine species. This one is a giant toadfish. We can see that they are not great swimmers because they have no swim bladder, a flotation organ that most bony fish have. Giant toadfish can grow up to 0.5 meter in length, but all of them have a monstrous appearance that makes them bizarre-looking creatures. The painted frogfish has protuberances and blotches on its skin that help it to blend in with its environment. They move slowly, using their fins like hands and feet. This fish camouflages itself with the algae growing on the sandy seabed and adopts the same tone of color. Interesting to see how it keeps its balance in the current. When it notices the possible threat posed by the camera, it puffs itself up to look bigger and more ferocious. Some smaller species, like this clown frogfish fry, have adopted the shape and bright color of some nudibranchs, whose toxicity keeps predators away as camouflage. This little character measures no more than 3 centimeters, and its growth will depend on how successfully it can deceive, even amongst its own species, not to mention the fishermen. Here we have a detailed view of his fins, which he uses to move. With no rush, of course. This other individual looks at the camera totally unfazed. That's what this is all about, seeing without being seen. This one, on the other hand, has a striking color, and he shows us the huge capacity of his mouth. When they open their mouths, they draw in a large quantity of water to drag in the food, and then expel it through their gills. And something that all toadfish have in common, the extension that grows out of their forehead between the eyes, which they use as bait like a fishing rod. This is how they lure their prey. Triton Bay and Kaimana are areas of special interest for the Indonesian authorities in terms of conservation. Images like the ones we are seeing have convinced everyone that they must be kept as untouched as possible. For a number of years now, in collaboration with a variety of environmental organizations, protected marine areas are being created, allowing them to study why this area has such extraordinary development of numerous species of coral. Allowed to grow unhindered, they expand to the outer reaches, increasing the oxygen released into the sea. Another reason is that the herbivorous fish have reduced in numbers because of the increase in predatory fauna. Because an area free of aggressions is where they all want to be. For this reason, the elegant anemones provide shelter for the weakest. Like this shrimp, called the anemone shrimp because that is where it lives. It looks like it's made of glass, a fragile piece in the collection of this type of crustaceans. They are delicate, transparent, not to say invisible forms, with subtle brushstrokes of color that give them amazing designs. They're not the product of our imagination. Or perhaps they are. Some shrimps have a more colorful appearance, like this spiny tiger shrimp, which has a scary name, but an enticing color. It has dozens of blue dots spread over no more than 2 centimeters of shrimp. slightly larger is the ocellated Toseuma shrimp, or saw-blade shrimp, which has characteristic eyes with an intense stare. And we can't leave our beloved shrimps without first seeing the anemone shrimp again, although seeing is practically a euphemism. We wouldn't be able to see in these waters the millions of eggs laid by the female shrimp when she spawns, nor when they hatch, because during their first days of life they form part of what we know as plankton. There are as many species of shrimps or prawns as there are aquatic habitats on our planet. We even have freshwater shrimps. Talking of fresh, what about our little friend, the harlequin? Let's not forget him. Will he have managed to leave the huge chunk of starfish he was carrying in his larder? Or perhaps he's looking for help? And hey presto, a colleague. They seem to understand each other quickly. This looks like a story with a happy ending, and they will be sharing more than just a starfish. These algae are where another species of shrimp rests, and a voracious shrimp at that. It's difficult to see, hence its name, the ghost shrimp, or skeleton shrimp. Supported on its lower limbs, it rocks to the rhythm of the current, lying in wait for its prey. It uses its antennae as both radar and pincers. At the ends, it has small stingers with which it injects a toxic substance that anesthetize other crustaceans, larvae, and worms that pass nearby without expecting to be caught. It looks like a praying mantis, and it gets the name skeleton because its head is reminiscent of a skull. It has time. It waits with its legs outstretched for its next victim. This individual will show us how the skeleton shrimp hunts. Camouflaged to look like part of the algae, it waits patiently. Until a young shrimp of a different species crosses its path. Got it. With the stinger on one of its limbs, it anesthetizes its victim. And the ceremony of survival begins. Shrimp eats shrimp. For a moment, it looks as though it's going to break free. But it recovers its position. Alerted by the food, another skeleton shrimp arrives on the scene. This is an area rich in food. Our protagonist braces himself without releasing his prey. They are now fighting over an already lifeless shrimp. And the struggle causes the prey to fall to the bottom. Neither of them will get to enjoy this one. They'll have to start over. We've just witnessed a very common occurrence in the marine environment. There is a form of natural selection that has to do with survival. Some come, and others go. Sometimes we talk about the age that some species can reach. But for this to happen, all the favorable circumstances must coincide. It happens when no bigger fish, or no predator, or men with their fishing nets, or contamination put an end to this favorable situation. These fall scad, or jack mackerel, are a good example. They swim around peacefully, but are voracious carnivores. They attack smaller fish swiftly, but are exposed to fishermen on the surface doing their job and whisking them off to a market or a restaurant because their flesh is highly prized. And no one ever knows when, at what moment, those two things might happen. Or neither of them. And then they will all be able to complete their life cycle. The same thing happens on the surface here. We are witnessing an explosion of thick, wild vegetation because there is minimum interference. No human hand has upset the balance here, and you can tell. If these waters weren't protected, there is no way we would be able to see such a group of fish in what could be a garden. Oh wait, here's our friend again, and he looks ready to fill the larder with starfish. If he manages to solve a small problem of space. For this he resorts to a little help, or should I say, a little helper. We said at the beginning that Triton Bay is perhaps the area with the most exuberant array of soft coral. It's nothing short of a coral breeding ground. The rock formations are converted into bouquets of flowers. The proximity of the sunlight and the currents form a cocktail that permanently fertilizes the seabed. leading to rampant growth of dozens of species. These plants also perform their photosynthesis. This is why they grow like this, near the surface, making use of the sunlight. If we could store the oxygen they generate, we would fill tanks and tanks every day. Some of these soft corals arouse conflicting sensations when we stop to look at them in detail. This one, for example, has the name of poetic coral. Its rippling movements create a relaxing sensation. Others, meanwhile, are quite frightening. This coral becomes frenetically active at night. Eager to get food for itself, it creates a thick barrier and wriggles around nervously. It appears restless, as though it wanted to trap us into its mysterious whispers. It has hooks on its branches to catch small organisms, and if one of them breaks, it grows back again. This is a monster-like feature of what is known as the basket star. It is there to remind us that our concept of aesthetics has nothing to do with nature's own designs. Nature is whimful. It designs twisted creatures, or mazes that seem to have no way out. But nature is wise. It always shows a way, and this is the right one. This is why we must listen when it sends out signals that it needs help, or that we must look after it. If this wasn't the case, we wouldn't be able to enjoy sights like this huge fish that can weigh more than 100 kilos, and this one is still young. Ladies and gentlemen, the humphead wrasse, or Napoleon fish. These fish are usually solitary. It is not normal to see groups of more than 5 individuals. They feed during the day, and at night take shelter in caves or covered areas. They have a protuberance on their head that grows as they develop throughout their life, which can vary between 20 and 30 years. The females are around 1 meter long, but the males can reach a length of 2 meters. Although this may be an alternative decision, because they're born with both organs. If they adopt the male role, they grow bigger. Even an adult female can become a male. They are protogynous hermaphrodites. It is a species considered to be at high risk because its flesh is highly prized, particularly its lips, which are said to be a delicious delicacy. They fetch prices of up to $400 in some markets. These lips play a crucial role in its feeding, using pressure to eliminate the toxins found in some of its favorite foods, like sea urchins, and other with even harder defenses, like crabs, clams, or snails. Overfishing has led to the Napoleon fish appearing on the red list of species, protected by a number of organizations. When we talk about being at a point in the Coral Triangle, we are talking about extensions of several hundreds of square kilometers. Dozens of solitary islands and islets with their own ecosystem, like this island with an inland lagoon. And who knows whether some hidden treasure or other. This grotto open to the sea would be the perfect spot for some intrepid 18th century pirate who had sailed here from Caimana with chests full of gold. In fact, you don't have to imagine it. The treasure exists. But it is not coins. It is jewels. Jewels of nature. They are gems of all colors. Rubies, emeralds, precious stones strung together delicately. A jeweler's work of incalculable value. But nothing can be bought, just admired. And all these precious stones need to be well protected. Watchful and attentive like security guards, the Moray eels. Like this giant green moray, the largest of the species. This white-eye moray eel is at its surveillance post, watching everything that goes on. And it is an imposing figure. Just like this ocellated moray lying in wait for us. With its 3-meter length, rolled up in the grotto it uses to monitor the area, with its keen sense of smell. Some species look for their habitat in the sand of the seabed and feed by holding themselves vertical, like a watchtower. The eel we can see is digesting its food. It belongs to the family of large spotted snake eels. The Napoleon snake eel spends many hours watching. And the ribbon eel is one of the most unusual. This is an adult female. When they are young, they are brown or black with a yellow band, and blue before their final stage, which is this one, completely yellow. The snowflake moray can destroy a giant crab with one bite. It is another solitary species, which is why it is rare to see it alongside a shrimp. If the shrimp is still alive, it may be because the moray has eaten recently. The same thing happens with this giant moray, whose lair is being used by another shrimp. This symbiotic relationship is very risky because shrimps are the moray's favorite food. It bids us farewell with a flash of its teeth. So we are not tempted to go much further in our trip around this natural treasure of Triton Bay. But before we go, let's stop to look at this image of a giant moray and a snowflake moray sharing a headquarters. Morays are animals with a ferocious appearance and a gripping and frightening presence. Don't you think? Well, maybe not so much. Now we take off in another direction in the Coral Triangle. We will fly to another point that won't be the same. It will have its own wonders. But those we see here belong to Triton Bay and Kaimana, in western Papua New Guinea. A singular beauty spot with a marked personality. A place where we could write an encyclopedia about why the coral flowers more here than elsewhere. With poetic notes and dark scenes. With mystifying characters. And more comical ones. In this coral, or should that be coral scenario, there is room in the choir for a great variety of members, like these different species of sharks. Totally peaceful. Toadfish that, if they could, would have the world for dinner. And shrimps with clearly different roles. Napoleons, scad, dolphins, and the star of the show, the huge, peace-loving whale shark. who waves us goodbye with his tail, in the hope that when we leave Triton Bay, we leave it just as we found it, which is the best way of offering our thanks for everything it gives us.